Hey, everybody. Sunday night here, just had a chance to catch up on emails and obviously a lot of fluff over the weekend that typically comes in. But one of my favorite things to look forward to is the content from Alex Mozad and the Applico team. And obviously, fantastic earnings reports from NVIDIA this past week. They're absolutely crushing it. AI obviously driving a lot of what they're doing in the manufacturing space and the revenue numbers that they're hitting as well. But what I thought was probably most interesting in Alex's email this weekend, he talks about AI in B2B distribution and talks about three pillars to actually being able to execute on AI and distribution. And so for AI to work, obviously it needs data, right? That's really not groundbreaking. And so he says, hey, obviously you got to have data. But number two, he talks about connectivity, right? And connectivity to the data source, which is in distribution and manufacturing. The data source is the ERP. Now, there could be other data sources as well, but the more data sources we can get, whether it's third party or first party data, obviously we're going to have better insights, more data points to be able to pull from to kind of make some predictivity here. And I think one of the probably less apparent, which but very very important pillar that he talks through is workflow. And so he says, for AI to work inside of distribution manufacturing, he says you need data, yeah, you need connectivity. Well, that's the source to get some of the most critical data and workflow. And I think this is one of the key pieces that a lot of technologies for B2B distribution really miss on. Even people who are working on cutting edge technologies is they're really missing the workflow for exception based scenarios. And my personal belief is that the ERP is one of the biggest hurdles and roadblocks to scaling distribution companies. If you think about a manufacturing and distribution company and you want to go hire someone fresh out of college, good luck. I mean, just let alone start with the thousands of part numbers that we have, and you know, probably no rhyme or reason to the SKU naming convention and the units and measures and the way that we sell them, and sometimes the pricing. And so I think the ERP is probably one of the big problems inside of distribution manufacturing to actually unleashing scale because there's really no learnings, there's no playbook for how you go up level. So what we have is a lot of tenured employees who've been in the industry for quite some time and have this tribal knowledge. And the challenge is how do we pass this on, right? So I think that's a big challenge. And the other piece is that I think there's been an interesting hub and spoke model with the ERP, right? The ERP is consistently the hub, and you have all these spokes coming off of it in the distribution manufacturing world. If you kind of juxtapose that to tech, the ERP is really, yeah, it's been a hub, but it's not been where people live, right? It's a transaction system. CRM has really lived in created the front end, or Gong or Salesloft or any of those technologies become the skin that salespeople and customer service live in. And the ERP just is purely transactional data for accounting and finance. But when you step into distribution manufacturing, they kind of expect that the ERP is where everyone is living. And I think we're going to start to see with the new advancements in AI and some of what Alex is talking about in this email, in this blog from Applico, is you're seeing enhancements where you're going to start to be able to replace what's happening outside the ERP and augment that with AI. And I think you're going to start to see technologies that become the front end. And just like what a lot of distributors were hoping CRM could be, but it never could replicate all the transactions or workflows that the ERP could. And so I think Alex is really onto something when he looks at the three pillars. Yes, obviously we need data. Two, obviously we need We need connectivity to be able to get that, and obviously standardizing APIs and integrations is key. But three is that workflow, right? And how do you take maybe I don't want to call them uneducated, but an an undertrained individual in this specific market or industry, and how do we actually up level them quickly overnight and augment them with technology so that they can step in and be an effective seller or be an effective customer support person, so they're actually providing value rather than just reactive problem solving. And I think we're starting to see the ability to go really solve these challenges because AI can now start to mine these workflows and replicate some of these workflows. So, yeah, super excited about the things that are happening for B2B distribution manufacturing. Thought Alex hit the nail on the head with the email that he put out this morning. And yeah, I wanted to kind of echo my views on just the ERP in that hub and spoke model and how I see it really changing in the landscape. So signing off for the night. I'm sure you'll hear from me more this week.